Hi, welcome to the home buying process video. This is Arturo Cruz with the Cruz Group. Thanks for joining us. Just a quick overview on what to expect and if you're buying a property in the Maryland, DC, or Virginia area. Thanks for joining us. Let's start this up. First of all, congratulations on making the decision to buying a home. It is a big it's a big decision. You're really investing in your future, so I congratulate you on that. Then you probably will be meeting with me soon to pretty much discuss the market conditions. Today it is a good time to buy. Interest rates are holding an all-time low, roughly about 3.5%. So definitely is a great time to invest into some real estate, and typically you'll come ahead if you stay in the house for minimum of 5-7 years. But most importantly, we need to determine how much you can buy, how much the lender, the mortgage company is going to feel that that the consumer can qualify for a loan. Most lenders, you have three criteria that the lender will look at when you to determine your purchasing power. One will be your income. Two will be your FICO score, which is determined by the three credit bureaus that are in the U.S. And three, how much debt you have. I am a real estate agent, so I can really speak generally about those three things. But if those three things are in line, the lender will give you a pre-approval, and will, based on on those three criteria, will give you the different loan programs that may be available that you can qualify for. Right now, you can qualify. There are programs out there that you can with a low down payment of about 3.5%. Some mortgage companies have a 3% down payment, but there is definitely a few choices out there today, and obviously you can come in with a 20% down. The banks really love that, but it's definitely some choices out there. But again, everything is based on what your credit criteria is, and allows you to qualify for that loan. Once you get that, pretty much, and that's very important, by the way, it's really allows you to figure out where the type of house that you can qualify for, that the lender again will allow you to purchase, and based on that, we'll start looking at your wants and your needs, and definitely the three, your wants and your needs are extremely important, but you're going to have three major pieces of buying. One is going to be the location, two is going to be your budget, and three is going to be what did I say? Your budget, your price, and your location. Sorry about that. So based on those things, we can determine where you want to purchase your home, and we'll start looking at your wants and your needs, which are extremely important as we continue on the process of buying. Based on that, we'll pretty much start looking at places. Today, about 80% of the homes that you'll be looking at are going to be properties that are owners or tenants still living in the house. So most likely, appointment will be required, meaning that most of the times we can really, just on the spot go and check out some places. But definitely, I will make every attempt possible to get you into the place as soon as we can. Again, we'll be reviewing the homes, as well as reviewing the properties that you have selected based on your wants and your needs. Typically, that process, today I've had clients who based on several criteria. We can find a home pretty quickly. I'm talking about maybe a week. And also depending on inventory or certain on your choices, you may be looking at probably 30 days. And that's again entirely based on several factors that we'll discuss at the time you decide to make the offer. Then make the offer. The offer, we will discuss that in detail once we meet up. Definitely the offer is going to have a couple of, I guess, major pieces. Is going to be an earnest money deposit. The deposit is pretty much telling the seller that you're seriously interested about purchasing a home. I highly recommend that amount to be 1% of the sales price. That check or those funds do not get cashed until after the offer gets accepted. Typically, once the offer gets accepted, let's talk about counter or rejection of the offer. In today's market, you definitely is going to be some countering or multiple offers per se in our market. We've seen that a lot, and probably in the last 6 months. Today is we're in March 2013, so definitely that's something that you will go through at the time when the offer gets submitted. But definitely is a lot of multiple offers on properties, and that would be short sales, foreclosures, or regular sales, and we'll discuss those when we meet up with you. If everything goes well, we'll have what we call a ratified contract. A ratified contract means that the buyer, you, and the seller have agreed on the terms and conditions of the offer, which is great. Typically, from that point forward until we go to settlement, we're looking at about 30 to 45 days, which is really exciting. Everything after that, things go pretty quickly, and at that time, we'll prepare you so you'll be ready to start things rolling. This is going to be part one. We'll take a break and go back to part two in just a minute. Thanks. Hi, this is Arturo Cruz again with part two of the home buying process. Like we were talking before, we have a ratified contract. And once we have a ratified contract, a couple of things are going to happen. Like we talked about, a check or a earnest money deposit will be submitted. In most cases, they be submitted to be cashed and to be made out to the company who we select as escrow agent. Those funds will be used towards your down payment of the purchase, so they'll be secured. So don't need to worry about that. Okay. Also, you've been making what we call the formal loan application, and what that means is that the bank is going to ask you for typically your bank statements, W-2s or tax returns, and pay stubs. And that's generally the information that the bank is going to require from you. After the contract ratification, most contracts are going to have what we call the contingencies on home inspections. Home inspection, pretty much, we hire a licensed and bonded inspector in the state that you purchased the house, and he comes in and checks the house, make sure that everything is in working order, looks at the maintenance, a lack of maintenance to the property, and gives you a report that pretty much outlines all the things that may require maintenance or major things to be done in the house. Depending on the contract, we'll negotiate with the seller on the things that we'll ask him or her to fix in the house. Then once those things are negotiated, we'll go with the next step will be what we call the appraisal and financing contingencies. Appraisal, it's a valuation from your bank or from your mortgage company that determines the value, the market value of the property. Your bank will send a third-party appraiser to make sure that the house value, it is the market value and you're not overpaying for that house. I have to say the appraisal cost runs roughly about $400 to $550, and most lenders will require to pay that at the time that the appraisal is ordered. By the way, inspections, home inspection also, it can run as for a condominium roughly about $275. To a large single-family house, it can go up to probably $600-700. So most of it is obviously depending on the square footage and the type of the house. All right. So anyways, the appraisal is done. Then you get a report that shows the value of the property. That appraisal is given to you. If the appraisal value comes in at the contract price or higher, you notify the seller that everything it's in good shape. If it's not, then there's some negotiations between the seller and the buyer, which the idea is to change the contract value to the appraisal value that was done by the third party. Once those negotiations are completed, the next step is pretty much the final approval process, which means that we've done the home inspections, we've done the appraisal, and the negotiations on those two items are completed. And then the file goes to what we call an underwriting department, or the final approval department that the mortgage company takes care of, make sure that all the loans, that the loan is in good shape and ready to go for final approval. One important party in this transaction that we really haven't touched bases yet is the title company. The title company, it's in the Commonwealth of Virginia, DC, and Maryland. The buyer has the choice to select that company, and one of the primary jobs of the title company is to make sure that they what we call do a abstract title, meaning that make sure that there's no issues with transfer of title to you, the new owner, and make sure those things are taken care of. Like I said, you have the choice to select that title company. The next step, pretty much, it's we get what's called the final loan approval. And that usually is going to come just a few days shy of going to settlement. And the loan approval, it's a great, you provided all the information that the bank needs from you, and in most cases we will get notified, or you will get notified from the loan officer telling you that the mortgage has been approved. One important thing as well, as you're buying a property, it is going to be a requirement to get something that's called hazard insurance, or some people call it fire insurance. And what that does is, obviously, if you're buying a single family or a townhouse, it covers the dwelling itself for the value, the replacement value of the property. And in most cases, we recommend going with the same company that you have, perhaps vehicle insurance, or if you have renter insurance, and most companies can accommodate that. If you need a referral, we can certainly provide that to you as well. We also give you utilities information, and that's typically is going to happen about we recommend 7 to 14 days calling ahead to the utilities companies to make sure that that schedules have been done. Especially besides utilities, you may want to call phone companies, internet, cable, and if that's very important to you, to make sure that you can schedule those way ahead of time. So when you go to settlement, you have those people knocking on your door and changing those transferring utilities onto your name. The day of, I want to say the day of, or perhaps a day before settlement, we do what's called a pre-settlement walkthrough. And what that means is that we go back to the property the day of settlement or the day before, and we verify that everything is in good shape. At that time, the seller or the tenants, if someone was living at the property, will be pretty much gone. Pretty much anything, all the furniture and all those things will be no longer be at the property. And if there's any things that have been agreed upon to fix in the house, we will verify those as well. Typically, there'll be receipts that provided by the seller showing the things that were done. Also, on the same the day of, we get something called the document. Very important. We get the HUD-1. The HUD-1, it's we call it HUD-1, but it's a document that shows all your expenses of buying or selling. Of buying your place. It's going to have your cost from the bank, cost of the state and county taxes, the EMD deposits, the loan amount, and several other pieces which we'll go in detail when we meet up. And that leaves, bring us to the final day of settlement. Settlement is a very important and a very great day for you. You've made a great decision in investing in real estate, investing in your future, and definitely something that you got to be commended for. On the day of settlement, we certainly recommend taking, if possible, the entire day off. It's a very exciting day for you and your family, so hopefully you can do that. And what happens after that? You move to your new place. Very excited to be part of your move. We thank you for using us, and hopefully this home buying process presentation will help you in your decision of buying your next home. Thanks again for watching. Again, this is Arturo with Cruz Group, and with Keller Williams, and my phone number, as you see here, 571-295-8495. Give us a call with any questions. Thanks again for watching, and we'll talk soon.